Welcome to Vamos. On this week's edition, we're going to discuss Arsenal's big win versus Bayern Munich, Man City's late winner versus Sevilla, and Real Madrid drawing a blank in Paris. I'm here with Abolade Olusonya and Olumide to discuss Arsenal's win. Olumide, let's discuss Arsenal's win over Bayern Munich. It was a pretty impressive game in which no one, including you, gave them a chance of getting out with anything less than a point. How were Arsenal able to win?
Arsenal were very disciplined and very focused. I think they really kept their focus and concentration throughout the whole game. Check a lot. He was the man of the match now, being able to stop all those shots from Thiago and Lewandowski, most especially. He was the key to Arsenal's success in that game. Cazorla and Santi Cazorla and Coquelin have been revelation in the deeper roles for Arsenal this season, and I don't think anyone can match up to them. I think Arteta came on later, and he's just a shadow of himself.
Okay, and let's move on and discuss Theo Walcott in the center attacking position. He had a average overall game. He had a header which he should have put away, but Manuel Neuer came up incredibly big. What's the problem with Arsenal in that number 9 position?
Well, it's the fact that most strikers have most teams have strikers that can do a bit of both things. So Arsenal have two different sorts of strikers. One that is ideal for counter-attacks, which would involve just giving him the ball in behind, and he would love to just run behind defenders and stuff, give him space, and he can be deadly. The other striker we have is obviously Drew, and mostly aerial threats, and he's a presence in the box. Sometimes he uses the ball, sometimes a bit more than you would anticipate for, or you would allow for his stature sometimes. But also, Walcott has his own priorities, which is he gets caught offside way too many times. Like, player of his speed, I've discussed with him many times, and you just don't understand how player of his speed is how quick he can be, how he gets caught offside. Like, most times in the game, it's just I think Paul on his part are not really being focused and concentrated and keeping an eye on the defensive line.
And also, Arsene Wenger made a tactical blunder, or shall I say selection blunder, not selecting Peter Cech for the first 2 games, and his performances against Bayern were absolutely amazing. So how much of the Arsenal's poor position in the group do you put on Arsene Wenger?
Well, I'll say yes. Leaving Cech out is questionable, but if you look at it last season, Ospina was to a large part way better than Chesney was in terms of consistency. He kept Chesney out of the team for a large part toward the end of last season. So he does have to get games sometimes, but to think Arsenal as a team could be so poor defensively, home and away, is rather shocking to people sometimes, and you expect better from the team of their level, especially if they are trying to advance further than the knockout stages of the Champions League.
But can they get to the knockout stages?
But Czech obviously should.
Can they get to the knockout stages? They have Olympiacos, who are really good at home, and they just beat Dinamo Zagreb.
Well, Arsenal must really be hoping that Olympiacos get maximum control from their game against Zagreb, which is unlikely. I think Olympiacos are favourites, because then they will be at home during the next round, and Arsenal still have to play Bayern Munich again, and whether or not they can perform another miracle is yet to be seen or decided. So they have to be. It's a back to the wall job for Arsenal for the rest of this. If they are to have any enter European campaign in terms of Champions League after the group stages.
Yeah, and Bob, I want to bring you in for this because, like, does Arsenal's win over Bayern, given how, like, average they've been over the course of the league, show how weak the Bundesliga is? Bob?
Hello?
Yeah, does Arsenal's win over Bayern show how weak the Bundesliga is, given how they've performed over the Premier League campaign?
Not necessarily, because Bayern still came and dominated the match. It was just one of those kind of matches where Bayern going forward, they didn't really utilise their possession. You know, they almost played like a Van Gaal United team. Almost like, because there wasn't really there wasn't too much penetration. They had a few good chances, and they should have scored at least an 8 goal, but you'd expect them to create a lot more like a lot more open chances and a lot less like half chances that they created during the match. So I don't think necessarily they showed the Bundesliga as weak. I think they were just wasteful, if anything, in that match.
Okay, and going back to Arsenal, how do you rate their chances in the Premier League? They're 2 points away from Man City, who are currently at level with Manchester United. But could they win the league this year with Man City having Kroon and Silver out for so long?
I think this is Arsenal's best chance of winning the season. No one predicted Chelsea falling so far off the mark so early on, and well, the way it's going, and the fact that not long ago I saw on Twitter or Instagram that Eden Hazard, the reports of Eden Hazard being not really being happy at Chelsea camp, so I won't be surprised if Real Madrid come knocking next season, if not January. But Arsenal, well, Man City, I think are Arsenal's most consistent threat, I would say. I predict them to win against United at the weekend. And why? Injuries. Why?
Okay, don't jump the gun yet. We'll get back. But let's move away from Arsenal because we've been talking about Arsenal too much. We'll get to an interesting Manchester United-Man City debate later on. But let's talk about Chelsea. Like, they're in third place right now. Are they in danger of not qualifying for the last 16? They were awful in Kiev. Hazard's falling out with the coach. They have West Ham in the weekend, which will be a very difficult game.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Chelsea?
I really feel like they might not qualify. I mean, I feel like they'll still get through the group, but I don't think they'll get any. They'll probably lose in the first knockout round, most probably, if they meet a decent team. Because the thing about this Chelsea team is that I feel like the mentality right now is so weak, and there's so many problems all over the pitch that it's not going to be a short-term fix. You know, the players aren't going to wake up and snap out of it. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I feel like unless someone like Mourinho goes or there's some sort of change, I'm not sure if Chelsea are going to be able to get out of this rut. Like, they will still win football matches, but when they really need to win and step up, I don't feel like they are going to. The games like the away at West Ham games, to me, are the games perfect for Chelsea to lose. Because these are the kind of teams that Chelsea don't like playing, especially away from home. Physical sides that play a lot of quick football as well. And every team that plays Chelsea now is going to feel like they can beat them right now. So the way teams will approach Chelsea will be a lot more attacking, and that's the last thing Chelsea want, because at the back they're defensively really weak.
Yeah.
So I really doubt anything's going to change. As long as they still keep the same players and keep the same system that they're playing, I don't see much changing, because even though they beat Aston Villa 2-0 last week, Aston Villa basically gave them those 2 goals. So I don't really feel like anything is changing throughout this.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, during this week's Champions League, I feel I watched one of the best games of the group stage. Even though I missed Bayer Leverkusen Roma, but I watched Man City Sevilla, which was actually quite an entertaining game. I feel Sevilla were unlucky to get away from the Etihad without a point, because it was really a fascinating game. Kevin De Bruyne came up in the very, very last minute. Like, what do you guys see about the game, and how do you guys rate City and their chances after?
Kevin De Bruyne is he was. I saw the goal. Like I was just thinking about just switching the TV off, thinking and 1-0 and everything, and then they had that break, and it's just how you saw like when people shape to shoot, sometimes they really you can really tell from the way that he's like bent and sometimes how they stand, their stance towards taking the shots. He just kind of placed it. Placement was so good because I thought it took it like deflection off the player's legs or anything like that. But no, he just shaped to shoot well enough, and then with his left foot in the corner, it just seemed so easy to him. Even after running all that, he was so tired. You can see he had to but no one really running up to celebrate with him because they were all really tired from that game.
Yeah. I also thought that he had a really they had a good game, but it was a really tight game. And in the last second, it was like a typical football match, like 90th minute counter attack, didn't work out for City, and then City countered back, and it was brilliant run from Yaya, brilliant dink. But some poor defending by Sevilla though. They could have covered De Bruyne much earlier before he shot.
Yeah, I agree. It was literally 1-on-3.
Yeah.
And he just it's not as if he did anything spectacular. He literally just moved his body, he just changed direction, and the goal just opened up. It was from a defensive point of view, it was a bad goal to concede.
Very off after working so hard. But City will have Manchester United, who were in action against CSKA Moscow. 1-1. Martial got the goal. Bob, rave about him.
Nah, he's the real deal. But I'll move on to him later. He basically, to me, Martial is the difference between anything we're gonna do this season. Any success we're gonna have, he's gonna be one of the most important factors in that, because he brings us to life. If without him, we'd be very much worse off this season, because he's everything we've been lacking from an attacking point of view. And it kind of, when a kid comes in and does better than a lot of the other more experienced players, I feel like it puts, except from Rooney, because that guy just won't, that guy's just, I think he's pretty much past it now. I don't know if he concentrates the same way, or if his desire is as strong to win as it was before, or to play well even. But when a kid comes in and plays as good as he has done, it kind of gives everyone else a kick up the backside. Similar way Sanchez has with Arsenal, but obviously Sanchez's one is a little bit more.
And with Rooney, there's controversy in United because Martial got moved to the left while Rooney's in the center.
Yeah.
And do you feel that should change?
Martial still had a better game than Rooney, even though Rooney scored and he didn't. Yeah. Martial was still far more dangerous. Rooney was still offered nothing. Besides the goal, he still offered nothing.
And moving on to the game in the weekend, now you guys can get into your arguments. Olumide thinks City's going to win. You think Manchester United's going to win. Why?
Yeah, I want to hear why he thinks City's going to win.
Well, it's just Man City at home, right?
No, United at home.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just going by the way Sterling right now, in terms of your most informed player, if I was to go by who has the most informed players between your team and and City, I would say actually City have most of those injured. The only reason why I say City would win is because what am I saying now?
He's struggling for reasons.
Kevin De Bruyne, that's all. That's how you say it. He's going to do this. That's how you say Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, but to counter for Bob for a second, Kevin De Bruyne was pretty quiet in the Sevilla game.
But as he showed, he's one of those players that he doesn't necessarily need to be, doesn't necessarily need to be there at all times. In terms of he doesn't need to be involved in the game all throughout to actually do anything. He could just, pop up when he needs to. If you give him the chance when he needs to, then it's a little bit different.
And Bob, why do you think United will win?
I think one, because players. De Bruyne and Toure are the only two players that I'm really like wary of. The rest I think are pretty average. Like Sterling, the only goals he scored against this season have been against teams who were promoted last season. So like I'm not sure if Sterling is a big game player. So I'm not really too fussed about him. I feel like someone like Darmian will be able to keep him under wraps because he has the speed necessarily and can maybe pick up pass, but I don't really feel like going forward he's that dangerous to really worry us too much. And I think right now, I feel like, and we're playing at home, plus City, obviously City are playing well, but they're also showing that they're really quite, they're really quite bad at the back as well. So I feel like this game will most probably be down to who has the better defence, and I feel like we do at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just this point where I think if Manchester United are to win that game, no matter how to start, really must be dropped, and Martial has to be the focal points for your team. If those three things don't happen, I don't think Manchester United would have the dynamic edge over Manchester City. But sometimes, if you notice in the CSA game, although you were played away, and Van Gaal did say he would take a point, but there were lots of sideways passes, not really getting the ball in the main man and trying to create through the middle or through the flanks with mostly side passes.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the way we play. I like the dominant aspect of how we play, but I don't necessarily appreciate the penetration. Like I said, from how Bayern played against Arsenal, it's all good having the ball and hitting the ball, but if you're not doing much with it, you're just passing the ball from side to side. You're not really, tiring out the defenders, etc. Stretching them out. You're just kind of waiting for some sort of random opening to come up, and that doesn't always happen. That's why players like Martial are so important now, because he's one of those players that can just create something out of nothing.
So who will you have in midfield and attack for the game if you were Van Gaal?
In midfield, I'd go with Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin and Herrera. Up front, I'd go with Martial. On the right, I'd go with Mata. On the left, I would go with maybe Ashley Young.
Ashley Young. What about Depay?
Nah.
No, is it because he's been rubbish?
He still has more to learn, yeah. I feel like he still has more to learn right now. He's not.
Okay,
he doesn't deserve to come back. If he's missed the last 2 games, he can't come back in for a game as big as this.
So
I think he's going to start.
You think why?
I don't know. I wouldn't understand if he did. I wouldn't really understand and think why leave him out against lesser teams and then bring him in against our fierce rivals. It's kind of. I mean, it might give him a kick up the backside in that sense, but at the same time, I feel like it's a bit more of a risk.
It's kind of like throwing him in the deep end and seeing if he swims or if he sinks. Like now, it's like I think he's going to start. If Mourinho doesn't start, Depay's going to start. So now I think what Van Gaal will just be like, tossing him in the water, like, okay, sink or swim. It's up to you.
So prediction, guys?
2-1 to Manchester City.
Bomb?
I'm going to say 3-1 to United.
3-1 to United? Okay, and let's have a brief word about Klopp, who's currently the king of the cup. Yeah, # Klopp. And how have you rated him over his past 2 games?
I think it's very unfair to. Well, it's not unfair in the sense that you do have to judge him because he is a manager. He still has to bring out the best in his players, but working with Origi up front and largely not having Henderson and Sturridge, most especially, I think brings that kind of edge to them going up front. Lallana was looking very lively at the weekend on Thursday and stuff, but he just has so many people out into Danny Ings as well. So many people that would have helped him create a better, like make Liverpool fight better in terms of the Premier League standards. Because I think like sacking Brendan Rodgers might maybe move them up 1 or 2 places, say 5th. But I don't think they might actually get into 4th place. I think.
feel like, yeah, he's inherited kind of a team that he'd probably never ever assemble if it wasn't for Brendan Rodgers, and so he's got a lot of figuring out to do. But I feel like the players are still good enough to win games, but not really good enough to really do anything special this season. Like, they'll just have quite an average season. And, you know, during the summer, he'll be able to do what he wants to do.
I think Gundogan coming to Liverpool. Next summer.
That's if he doesn't go to Barcelona. Yeah. Yeah. Barcelona wants him. They want Gundogan, Verratti, or Pogba. But apparently,
I just don't understand someone like Verratti and Gundogan. I can see them fitting in easily. Someone like Pogba, I don't feel fits Barcelona in any way. Like, Barcelona like nimble, flamboyant midfielders, not like huge, like strong, like kind of athletic. Like, to me, it just doesn't fit their style in any way.
It seems like Yaya Toure and Sergio Keita.
Yeah, those kind of players, they don't have them anymore. Yeah, like, it doesn't seem like it fits.
Yeah, like Rakitic is the closest to like that Yaya Toure, Sergio Keita model.
He's quite a skinny, and he's very flamboyant as well. So.
Yeah. You see his goal against Bate, both goals?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, the first goal was like a delight. Yeah, I was watching the second goal in a bar, and it was like when he chipped it, like everyone was wasting, like, did it go in? Yeah, he went in. Oh god! But the worst game throughout this week was PSG Real Madrid, man.
I didn't watch it. Was it like, I saw the highlights?
I watched it. I watched it, and let's just say there was a lot left to be decided about that match. There was one chance. There was one moment where I thought Real Madrid would get the break when I think it was one of them youngsters, like 23-year-olds, I think Chavez or something like that.
Oh, Cheryshev.
Yes, Cheryshev. He had the opportunity to, it was a break, and then he had looked up. Ronaldo was on the other end, like on the other side of the pitch. All he had to do was literally lob it through, and then Ronaldo like clean through on goal. It was just him and the goalkeeper that he decided to shoot from like 30 yards out or something like that. You could see Ronaldo. Ronaldo was fuming.
Yeah, but to be honest, Cheryshev is a player with pride, and like I saw him a lot last year at Villarreal, and he sees himself like he's ready, and like he scored goals like that, like cutting through the inside, like kind of like Ronaldo, like shooting on his right. Yeah, but I was like heavily disappointed with Real Madrid. To be honest, I felt they should have done more, but like at the same time, you felt like PSG should have done more as well because Real Madrid had so many players injured.
Yeah, Real Madrid had, in terms of who had the best cards on the table, PSG definitely had the best cards, and Real Madrid, Modric came on, who I think Modric is Real Madrid's best midfielder. Like, without him on the pitch, you notice like how it's almost like, say, Santi Cazorla for Arsenal in some ways. Just some ways it's Modric is a bit more dynamic going forward sometimes, but Modric, when he's not on the pitch for Real Madrid, you notice his absence.
Yeah, and but the problem is he's always been injured in the past couple of years. Like, that's something I've noticed about him. Like, he always comes back, he plays well, then he's always injured. I feel maybe after this year might be a good time to move him on, especially if Kovacic can like really fit in this year. Yeah, we'll see. And also, like, there's been a lot of criticism with Rafa Benitez. Like, do you feel from that performance like it's defensive? Because I know the Spanish media, they're all about him. Like, they all think it's defensive because he's had like 3 draws. Like, he's drawn blank 3 times this season as well.
Yeah, that's really unlike Real Madrid. The Real Madrid that I know just try to,
outscore you.
At the best, they'll just outscore you. The defense might not always be as rigid. And it's all good keeping clean sheets, but when you have players like Bale or Ronaldo and you can't score goals, it's remarkable.
But can you blame him really? Because like in the game against Granada, like they dominated. Like it's been poor finishing most likely, and even though poor finishing, like the second pass before the final pass has been extremely poor from Real Madrid as well. And like with all the injuries,
Because against Malaga, I don't understand how they didn't score. Ronaldo had countless chances. Countless. Just, oh my days. I remember seeing one chance that he had. I think Marcelo gave him a cross to Isco. Like in almost the 6-yard box. He skied it and he just got it back. But he was smiling because he just couldn't believe it. And no, I couldn't believe it. It was like, Ronaldo, really? Yeah. It happens.
But like on Ronaldo, like he recently this week I think he broke Real's record against Levante. Like, how much of a stain is it to Ronaldo the fact that he has only won one La Liga in his past 6 years at Real Madrid?
It just shows that they're really not making. They're not really making much progress. I mean, obviously they won the Champions League, that was great, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not moving forward. They're pretty stagnant, and that's bad considering how much money they keep spending. But nothing really seems to be changing.
Yeah, and also with Gareth Bale, do you think he might be the next leader of this Real Madrid team? Like, do you feel it's his time now? Because like he moved Will to the Euros, got Will to the Euros, playing absolutely brilliantly. Is it his time now to take over Real Madrid?
I don't know. Like, I feel like until Ronaldo leaves, we won't necessarily know because we're always just going to get it different. We're always going to get it as like some sort of Ronaldo that we don't really, some sort of Bale that we don't really know. Because his first season when he got there, it seemed like it was best when he was more ignorant, like he was more naive. That's what that got the best out of him because he just carried on his good form. But then it seemed like the more he settled, the worse he got, which just makes me kind of question what happens behind closed doors.
It's just I saw a tweet after doing the game saying like if you're a Real Madrid player, practicing free kicks is useless when Ronaldo's on the pitch because he is just gonna show where it is and taking any free kick from 30 yards and even 40 sometimes it was really daring. But he would always be like, no, this is mine, and I was looking at it like there was one free kick which they did have in their position for them that I think was someone like Cruz on the ball. Like Cruz used to take free kicks for like and he could really like.
Yeah. Benzema used to take free kicks for Leon as well.
He could do better than Ronaldo. If you love Ronaldo, don't even dare talk about it.
Yeah. But I feel James is going to start taking free kicks soon because like he's taking a couple of like sweet free kicks. Like he took a couple at the end of last season. Like he took one against Betis this season, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was just sad because Bale is a much better free kick taker as well, I think.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's the kind of thing. It's the same kind of concept of Rooney won't get benched, even though he's the worst player on the team. It's the same reason why Ronaldo's conversion rate for free kicks will never be talked about, even though, he keeps, he'll keep on taking free kicks.
Free kicks. Yeah, and Real Madrid, they're in action against Celta Vigo this weekend. I'm so excited. I honestly think Real Madrid will lose this game.
Are they home or away?
They're away to Celta.
Oh, no.
No, because like...
That means they might draw. It's that kind of game that, if Real Madrid still stick to their game plan, Celta Vigo need to be at their very best. Real Madrid don't need to be at their very best to win the game. So obviously there's still a massive gap in quality. So
I don't think the gap is so massive, Bob. I don't think so.
Like, absolutely.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Celta Vigo to win that game have to be at their very best. Real Madrid don't win the game.
Like, that's the same Celta Vigo that destroyed Barcelona 4-1. This same Celta Vigo that...
Barcelona anywhere near them.
No.
Yes, absolutely not. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. When you have such players, the other team has to have their best game to consider themselves having any chance at all.
But this is Celta Vigo side. Not take apart the Barcelona results and take apart the fact that like 50% of their games they played with 10 men. But they've also beat Villarreal. They beat Sevilla away from home. And Real Madrid, they're coming in not in the best of form. From what I'm hearing, Benzema is not going to be available. Neither is Modric. And I don't think Bale might be available. So you're going to see the same front three that played against PSG. And I feel Celta have a better front three at the moment than any other team in Spain, based on form. And the midfield is actually absolutely brilliant as well. They control the ball. They play that tiki-taka football nice. And that's why I feel they might actually get a win.
I think, well, they did, Real Madrid did face bigger guns against PSG and came up with the draw away from home. I think what you're saying is true in terms of Celta Vigo having the more informed forward players, I would say. And it's just, knowing it's a Benitez team, I think they would not lose the game. They might not win, but I don't think they would lose the game. So I think neutral.
So, like, do you think they're going to play defensive against Celta? Because, like, that would look really bad in the Spanish press. Like, Real Madrid parking the bus against Celta Vigo.
The match will just be counter-attacking. I don't know. But it's just Ronaldo up front being the number 9. I don't think suits him. I don't think he really likes it that much. He likes being able to drift in and around.
Yeah. He doesn't want to be the man, when who's standing or the last defender, etc. No. He's the kind of guy that runs, who plans his run into the box rather than the guy who needs to be in the box. Yeah, it just seems odd.
Yeah. And to move on to another story, in case you guys haven't noticed, on my Facebook, I posted something about the El Clasico controversy.
Yeah, I've read about it.
Yeah,
I don't know until they actually do some sort of investigation. I don't know whether they can say that officials were pressured into making decisions and all this kind of stuff. It's all kind of it's all kind of hearsay right now, which to me, I don't know to what extent is true, but I mean, it's the kind of thing where there must be something to it, because it's a very strong thing to say if it doesn't have any substance.
Yeah, and he also said that in the call he got from the referee committee, they said I shouldn't worry about it, that it's happened before. And so that just got to me. I was super annoyed with that, because if it's happened before them, so how many games in their 22-game winning streak did they cheat to win, in a sense? Because there were a bunch of random calls, calls that shouldn't have been calls. For example, Benzema's goal against Malaga, where he pulled out Anguilleri to score the goal, and that shouldn't have stood at all. But it's interesting. I would like to see how this goes forward.
Yeah, I guess on the time will tell, and maybe if the investigation is taken a bit deeper and stuff, might find a bit more to tell.
Yep. What's the appropriate punishments, do you think? Should it be a match ban on Real Madrid?
It depends to what extent they can prove it's true. Because I feel people at Real Madrid aren't stupid, to the sense that they're not going to leave around traces that are really going to provide strong evidence. Yeah. So, I don't really see this going anywhere too far, because I feel at the end of the day, they might get found out, but it will be in such a sense that someone will be I had a conversation with the referee, which, it's not a good thing, but it's not necessarily it's not necessarily that substantial, you did this, if they get concrete evidence, like an email or a text message, something more that can point someone,
money changing hands or something.
Yeah.
Real Madrid can easily just pay one idiot to be the scapegoat and just let it all die down, and that's it. They'll just pay someone that doesn't really, someone that can't necessarily be traced back to the real officials there, who might actually have a lot more evidence. So you can't really know. But if they do get found out and it's actually a real thing, I feel they should get points deducted and fined. Yeah.
Fine, not relegated like Juve.
It's Real Madrid. You can't compare Real Madrid and Juventus. I don't think anyone has the balls to even try and relegate Real Madrid.
Yeah, that would be disastrous for the TBDO that they're trying to sell around the world.
There's no way. No one would even propose it. The only people who would propose it are presidents of other clubs, or people who actually make the decisions. They know better than to even try it.
Yeah.
Especially the way FIFA is at the moment. No one's really in charge.
No.
Exactly. And Fiorentino Perez.
Yeah.
He's scary in that sense that people will actually fear for their lives if they try something as stupid as that.
Wait, could I say one thing, I think we should talk about what's it called? Aubameyang.
Oh yeah, he's been scoring goals for
scoring a
fun.
hat-trick for Borussia Dortmund. He has been. I haven't really watched them like the way they played today under the new manager as such. But like I mean, he has like 12 goals in 13 games, or is it 13 and 12?
Yeah, it's 12 and 13. But he's been
rather consistent.
Yeah, he's been tearing the things apart in the Bundesliga. I saw him play against Bayern. I thought it was like the most impressive Borussia player there. But like he's like in and out of the game. Like he's your typical number 9 who drifts out like when they don't have possession and stuff. So like, but like in front of goal is absolutely clinical.
Yeah, I feel like he's worked on his finishing a lot because he's always had the speed.
Yeah.
His finishing, at least in the last few seasons, was always questionable at times. But now I feel like, yeah, he's becoming clinical. And he won't stay at Dortmund too long if he keeps playing like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And to go back to Spain, like the biggest game this weekend is Atletico Madrid versus Valencia. How do you see that going?
Valencia are at home, aren't they?
No, they're away at Calderon.
Oh.
But an interesting stat, Atletico has only won once in the past 4 years at the Calderon versus Valencia.
Really?
Yeah.
See, stats like that, I really want to do them. Like, I really want to do this kind of stats. I really want to do this kind of stats before I like make a bet or something.
Yeah.
Like, because it's really annoying because you think, oh, Valencia, well, like coming to Atletico Madrid and Atletico Madrid have good leaders, which then Valencia then can
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
No.
Yeah, but that's in La Liga though. Like they've won once and they won twice if you count Copa del Rey, but in La Liga they've only won once versus Valencia. They've drawn the other 3. And to be honest, like yeah.
I guess we'll find out. But I think I see Atletico Madrid.
I honestly see the game being more even. I think, like, I'm gonna make a very controversial statement, but I feel Valencia will win this game. Although they're not playing well, I just feel this is kind of game that can like bring out a reaction, especially from the players that haven't been playing well, like Rodrigo. I feel Andre Gomez is getting to good form. I feel like the team is getting more together in the sense they have more like cohesion, more team spirits, and I feel that might help them over Atletico Madrid, who I don't think have been that impressive this season.
Is Rodrigo that main striker? Is it Rodrigo or Negredo? Because I'm not sure, but Negredo hasn't been shooting. He hasn't had his shooting moves unless Negredo is in Sevilla. And I'm mistaking Negredo for Zidane.
Negredo hasn't been playing that much this season, especially he fell out with the coach recently after saying some words to Marca where he told Marca that he felt that if Valencia had played a more direct style, he would have scored more goals. In which the coach replied to that, Valencia has created one of the most chances, but the strikers aren't performing well. The striker, meaning Negredo, isn't performing well. And so ever since he made those comments, he hasn't played for Valencia. I doubt he's going to play against Atletico Madrid. Alcácer, on the other hand, who keeps on scoring for Spain, hardly scores for Valencia. So, and Rodrigo has been absolutely disastrous since his move from Benfica. But I feel this is kind of game that maybe can spur him on.
I think no one really expect much from them, especially unless you're a Valencia fan. But I think looking at Atletico Madrid right now and seeing how Griezmann as well, he's one of the kind of top strikers right now in the European football. So you can't really see past Griezmann having a good game at home. Eventually, the rest of the players turn up as well.
I feel like one thing that's working against Atletico Madrid is the fact that they have so many options now. That it's not almost a good thing because I don't feel like they really know their best at 11. That's becoming a problem.
No, they don't, because like 1 week is like Correa, Griezmann, Martinez. 1 week, the other week is Griezmann, Carasso,
without
Martinez.
That consistency, players aren't always going to perform to their best.
Yeah, and also like with Atletico, it's like going back to Griezmann. Like Griezmann doesn't really play well against the big teams. I can't remember a single game against either it's Barcelona, Real, Valencia, or even Sevilla that he's really performed. And Jackson hasn't performed that well.
I think it's this season that Griezmann has really kind of shown for us. In France as well, he's been playing well for France. Well, I guess we'll see. Because I see him when I was watching him against, I can't remember who they played in the Champions League, went away from home, and the two goals he kind of scored, like taking finish the first time, real confidence, and the goal he scored last weekend when he dribbled through the middle, and then oh my god, yeah, I remember that goal. Just dribbled through the middle. I saw him lying about it. Not just dribbled through the middle, all the way through. It was terrible defending, almost like kindergarten defending. It was so bad. He just ran through the middle, and that's all. And then I think he either chipped it or siphoned it into the net. One of those two things was so too easy. Just too easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was against David Moyes' Real Sociedad. David Moyes is in big trouble. Burnley might get sacked.
I'm not surprised. He's not a good manager. I don't know what he did at Everton. Everton just seemed like the perfect fit for him. But he's not the kind of, especially if you want quick results, he's not the type that you bring in. It's not going to happen. Like, he's not that type of coach.
Yeah, because coming to Spain, I actually expected him to bring a little bit of that Britishness, that competitiveness spirit, but it's Real Sociedad have gotten worse since David Moyes has come in. And around this time, their manager got sacked. So if they lose against Levante, there's a big chance they'll get sacked. Extremely, because they're very close to the relegation zone, and for a team of their size, they shouldn't be that low in the table. Let's move on from Spain as a whole, and let's talk about Serie A where we left off. Bob, you were right about Inter because they've collapsed after their 5 straight wins.
I told you.
Yeah.
What goes up must come.
Well, what? Well, what about Napoli?
I watched the game against Juventus. Which was actually thrilling. It was 0-0, but it was one of those 0-0s that was so tense that it was such a good match. Which, I couldn't really see what Inter were very defensive coming into the game, which made sense, obviously because they're playing Juventus. But I feel like with going with current form, you'd think they'd be a bit more hopeful. But in the second half, it was all Juventus, and Juventus missed quite good, a lot of good chances. Idira had one that he really should have put away, and he hit the post. So I was really surprised that they went so defensive. But yeah, Napoli, they seem to be hot on form now, and they seem to be scoring goals for fun. So yeah, it seems to be working.
Is there a Rafa Benitez factor?
Yeah, the fact that he's left, he can actually play football now.
Do you think they can win the Scudetto this year?
It's too soon,
Yeah, but I'm loving how it's so exciting in Italy.
Still run away.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I'm loving how it's so exciting in Italy. Almost any team can win the Scudetto. I can pull a team out of my ass and they can win it. Like Fiorentina a couple of weeks ago, even Roma. It's so exciting this year.
I think Roma can't go away because they concede too many goals, and they can be rather unpredictable. I think Napoli do have a very decent shout. I think after just you mentioned Napoli. I think Napoli really have a shout.
Yeah, but what's led to this change in Serie A? How has it come so exciting all of a sudden? It was dead league a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I don't know, really. I really don't know how to pin the change on, but I don't know, maybe movements of coaches around and stuff. And but I think I tipped. I think earlier, it was on this show, or I was talking to one of my friends. I said Juventus would still come back to win the league.
Yeah.
And they'll need to show real strength and character to acquire that. The one great teams that do want to require that performance again.
Yeah, I'm still with Roma, to be honest. I feel they'll win it. I feel they're strong enough. I feel like they having poor defenses right now, but like over time, like they'll get it together. And because they're struggling now, it's much better for them because like they'll finish strong than last season where they absolutely capitulated at the end of the season.
Yeah, last season was quite tough.
Yeah.
I remember having Roma on my beds. My beds didn't have them. It was so stupid.
Hey.
The games they would win, they would go control. Like it's just stupid.
Yeah. But I guess that's it for today. We've discussed we've got